like a Hellcat. Like a Hellcat. Like a Hellcat.
Girls with their nails done now. Girls with their nails done. I like the girls with their nails done. Girls with their girls with their nails done now. Girls with their nails done. I like the girls with their nails done. Girls with their nails done.
Close till I get up. Time is barely on our side. I don't wanna waste what's left. The storms we chase are leading us, and love is all we'll ever trust. Yeah, no, I don't wanna waste what's left. And on we'll go, through the wastelands, through the highways, till my shadow turns to sun rays. And on we'll go, through the wastelands, through the highways. And on we'll go. No, I don't want no rest. Echoing around these walls, fighting to create a song. I don't wanna miss a beat. And on we'll go, through the wastelands, through the highways, till my shadow turns to sun rays. And on we'll go, through the wastelands, through the highways, and on we'll go. And we'll grow in number, fueled by them to see the horizon, turn us to thousands. And we'll grow in number, fueled by them to see the horizon, turn us to thousands. And on we'll go, through the wastelands, through the highways, till my shadow turns to sun rays. And on we'll go, through the wastelands, through the highways, and on we'll go.
Stranded in the open, dried out tears of sorrow, lacking all emotion, staring down the barrel, waiting for the final gate to open to a new tomorrow.
Say I'm dangerous 'cause I broke all the cages. No, I didn't take it. No, no.
They let me put that, I guess they'll never learn. Every time I break, there's just more pain to burn. They'll never, never, never learn. Till the battle's won, till kingdom come. I'll never run. That's too many loyalty.
Hi viewers, I am Coach Abhishek and I have Siddhant sir with we have Siddhant sir with us today. We are back with 8th Chessbrainz Club Arena today. Hi Siddhant sir, how are you doing?
Hey, hi Abhishek, how are you? I'm all good. Thank
I'm
you for
just
asking.
excited to see the kids competing against each other. So let's quickly dive into our first request. We are getting the first request for Eskirtan. So, in this game, Eskirtan is playing from the pieces of white and V plays is playing from the black. What is your take on this position, Siddhant sir?
Okay, so both of have them developed pieces pretty properly. They have followed the opening principles. Okay, and okay, now waiting for d4 break. So d4 and then white might be better. Yeah, but then it's a very symmetrical position where both the kings are safe. So it will be a long game definitely.
Yes. So the game looks quite stable right now. But I'm worried about the dark square bishop of the black. It is currently not having any plan to activate itself. Also, there is c4 in the position, but then the white is going to get the d4 square back for his bishop after bishop c2, and then the white can continue the game further with e5 after moving this bishop here.
Correct.
Okay. Would you suggest the move that white currently played on b3?
Okay, so the idea of white was that he wants his bishop on the long diagonal, but the problem with this is a3 and c3 becomes permanent weakness. Yeah, and they are called as isolate pawn, and it becomes very easy for opponent to attack those isolate pawns.
That's quite true. So I was much awaiting bishop to d4 in this position, because opponent cannot go pawn c5 and they cannot even go pawn to e5, because this is a weak
Correct.
square and the bishop could have, let's say, came here, or maybe knight f3, then knight could have posted itself on d4.
Even rook c1, maybe rook c1 idea, bishop b1, queen c2, pawn e5, bishop d4 idea. Yeah, so that there is a meeting threat.
Yes, that could have turned out well, but the game has gone, and we will go through some moves.
Okay.
So as soon as white got his bishop into the activity, the e4 pawn lost its support, and in this position, white has won a pawn down.
Can you go back 2 moves back, Abhishek? Okay. Here, once we captures, knight captures the pawn, knight captures knight. Okay, and bishop captures. Okay, okay? Can you have a tactic here instead of bishop c2? Maybe bishop h6.
Yes, bishop h6 is a tactic to win a pawn here, definitely, because there is a weakness, along the e file of the discovered attack.
Correct.
But I think white has decided to trade, and I think position looks slightly better for the black in this position, I would say.
Correct. Yeah, he's a pawn now, so definitely.
And white was threatening the black was threatening a back rank here, but white is fighting to not let the black's queen come into their half of the board, and the position seems quite stable right now for the both players, but we need to see how that turns out.
Black is doing good. Yeah, black is trying to exchange pieces because again, white is also being little tricky. Idea is okay. Wow, they both are playing.
Idea was f4, but after king f8 it is not possible.
Nice. So this is actually a very high quality game. Both players are playing. Small errors they are making, but overall quality of the game is pretty decent.
Yes, true. Now, I'm just thinking what white can do out of this position. So they can first go queen f3 defending this, and then trying to infiltrate in the black's position with some check ideas and trying to capture. Still it works fine, I guess.
Yeah, I mean, now I feel it's equal. Yeah, I mean, okay. You take the pawn and then you take b3 and okay, so it's all okay. This is bad.
Backward is awkward.
The idea might be he wants to support the c3 pawn but always attack is more better than defense. Okay, being attacking player,
Exactly.
if you could have captured a6, it would have been much stronger.
That's quite true. Now, we are getting a lot more requests right now. We'll quickly wrap up this game and we'll head to our next request. See, because it's a queen endgame, it is worth featuring parents, okay? This is a very good, position. Your kid will end up learning something out of this. So we want to feature this sort of positions. Oh, wow. The black is, very keen, but there could be threefold, I guess. Oh,
Yes.
this is the reason I said it can be tricky.
Yes.
Yeah, good game by both of the players. So we are getting our next request for Arush. In this particular game, Arush is playing as black against Rudransh. He's playing as white. Okay, now this looks like a rook endgame. We are lucky to witness so many endgames today, I guess.
Yeah, that's true. Yeah.
Yeah. And the black's idea of going rook d7 is to go rook d8,
Rook
and
D-
they were preparing a back rank, but white
So it
immediately
still is a very
spotted the
good
threat, and
So
they
kids are
created a
definitely
lock for their
looking
king.
at-
Yes,
Kids
that's
are definitely looking at the threats. That's nice. Okay,
But we can see white has two extra pawns in the position, so any sort of trade right now is going to favor white and not the black. After the back rank, has fixed by the white. Also, we see that there are two isolated pawns which can be the next target of the white.
Okay, so rook c4 he could have went.
Yes. A rook c4 could have been a good idea here to push the king back. But I just want to think from the side of black how black can, make this position work for themselves. At least to a draw as we saw in the last position.
So of course you have to go to the second rank because rooks are the best on second rank. And
Yes.
you have to try to, because c2 is little weak, because the
C2 is
pawn chain
weak.
starts from that particular. And one thing the king is doing of stopping the pawn to come forward. Yeah, so definitely the rook has to enter, or else this
Maybe-
position white is going to.
Black can simply make a sleeping battery, as you said, on the second rank.
Yes.
And there can be
Yes.
some tactic of draw here when the white tries to take the black pawns back.
Correct.
But we need to see. Now, moving this pawn is like rook captures on h5 here. Captures and then capture back. I think it's fine for both the players. I think white has a clear advantage now because of the two passers.
Maybe g3 you should try instead of capturing. Okay, but then because rook captures and again.
Yes. But like the point is there are two passers on the king side, right? So shouldn't be difficult for the white, I guess, to carry on from here.
Now the
Maybe-
same idea, if he would have pushed the pawn on g3, in case if the opponent would have captured the pawn on g3, then there was a chance of at least draw because there was no rook f1 in that position. Here, instead
So
of
here
capturing
G3.
g3.
And if opponent doesn't captures,
If he captures, then there is rook d2. Okay, rook d2, and there is
Okay,
no rook
rook
f1. I mean, attacking c2.
if they don't take, for instance, then there is like a rook d1
Ah,
and king, and then there's a back
yes.
rank only directly.
Yes. So g3 is a tricky move, yeah.
G3 was a tricky move actually.
Okay, but
Indeed,
again,
it was
he gave a
tricky,
chance
but
now. Yeah, now it's a draw.
yeah, I mean, I guess rook takes f2. Yes, rook takes
takes
f2, and then, I mean, if they try to take here, then it's a draw.
That's a draw.
At
for
least
sure.
it can lead to some, very good, very sharp positions right now.
Correct.
Oh,
Not
you've
with
taken
this.
with the wrong rook.
Wrong rook.
Students, when you have one rook already on the second rank or the seventh rank, try to infiltrate one more rook on the second rank to increase your power in the opponent's half of the board. Okay, I think white is doing better. Should we take on the
Yes.
next request now?
Yes. Sure.
Yeah. Now we are getting a request for Kailash. this position, Kailash is playing as black against Ilhan. They are playing from white. Now, white is currently a pawn up in the position, and we are into the opening phase.
A free piece, yeah. I mean, it was a free piece.
Oh,
Just a free piece given by the opponent, yeah.
yeah. Now, I think white can do one thing into the position. Maybe a quick d4 can work because at least you keep that center control to your hands and then you can roll your pawns down more.
Now d4.
Oh, now d4 is a worthy move. Like, oh, there was a simple pawn fold and then you win a piece.
So I'll tell you, black is only looking at his plan. He wants to play queen h.
Yeah.
Yeah, again, yes, he wants to mate. So takes. Okay, this is a tricky thing. Yeah, the idea is wow.
Fishing pole.
Yes, fishing pole, and definitely he'll go queen h5. Yeah.
Yes.
H4, yeah. The idea is unstoppable.
We also cover these kind of ideas into our community sessions, right?
Yes, correct.
So the kid who is joining it regularly will have a slight advantage, and we can clearly see that thing happening right now.
Definitely. Community
good
sessions
game by
have a lot of tools.
Yeah, definitely. I mean, I remember we have covered this in the recent times. Okay, we will go to the next position now. The next request we are getting for CB Nishal. Okay, in this position, Sony is playing as white and Nishal is playing as black. What is your take in this position? Which side would you prefer?
Definitely white is winning, yeah. And there's no...
Yes.
Even if I just capture f8, still white is winning. So, yeah. Too many pieces for white.
Yes. I mean, they should just simplify the position, right? And then they can offer like one more trade with a rook f1 as well.
There is knight f7. And one more exchange of piece happens.
Yes.
Yeah.
I think white is clearly dominating this game.
Definitely. Sony 1976 is really playing good.
Yes. So black has resigned in this position. Students, you are humans, your opponents are also humans. Resigning is not a way. Fight till the end, and who knows, your opponent might end up blundering something.
Correct.
So we don't recommend you to resign. Keep fighting. We are getting the next request for Atvik. Atvik is playing from the black pieces against Joel Asher. They are playing as white. When I look at this position, black is a pawn up right now, and black looks like a slightly passive because their bishop is on e7. But I'm sure this game is going to be really of the positional play, and black is currently trying to target the isolated pawn on d3. Now, the pawns which cannot be defended by the friendly pawns are weak pawns, and this is called as an isolated pawn. Siddhant sir, what do you think? How is this game going to proceed further?
So definitely black is better, no doubt. The pawn structure is beautiful, but the white, if he wants to create a play, the isolate pawn only is going to give him for the play, because the game is going to revolve around that isolate pawn. So for an instance, if he pushes d4, okay, of course the queen can't take because the rook is supporting. So something into the area, that is the only hope. But if white loses the deep pawn, the game is over. I mean, practically, positionally, the game is over. Of course, if the opponent blunders, that's another story. But positionally, though, it's lost for white already.
True.
So
black is looking. Yes, it's a very good move. I think this position is coming from Caro-Kann, if I'm not wrong.
Yeah. Okay, so it's a good move by white, because if in case black takes knight into knight,
Yes.
so there is there is bishop into bishop. So knight into knight, it's actually tricky for. No, if black takes knight into knight.
Yeah, if black takes, then immediately.
No,
white is exploiting the pin right now.
Not immediately,
So-
right? Not immediately
Yeah.
he'll take, because there is rook d7.
Mhm.
There is first pawn into knight, right?
Yes.
If black takes knight into knight, so pawn
Knight
into
into
knight.
knight, pawn takes. Yes.
Okay. So there is
But
no there
then
is
there is like queen
cushion,
b4, I
there is
guess, which is a
yes.
defense to that move.
Yes, queen b4, pawn a3, and then queen c5, and then pawn b4, and then I believe now the bishop is gone. No, but there is okay. Queen c4, you're attacking the bishop. No, yeah.
Yes. So black did not broke the pin, and the idea of white was to attack the pin here, which seems okay, not a bad deal at all from the white side.
Okay, now this is.
They're trying to simplify the position. I think queen takes has to be one of the moves. And if I now see the position, I think white seems okay as well because they have slightly more activity as the a8 rook is still not into the game.
Even
But yes.
to capture with the pawn was not bad in this situation. Of course, we informed the students not to open up the king side. But
side.
because the pieces are exchanged, so yeah, my king will be very safe on h8 or for that matter f8, e7. But yeah, and then yeah, this idea of rook g8.
Yeah, we
Queen
take the
d5
king to
and
the
yeah.
side and we use the open file with our rook. We bring our last piece into the battle and we can create threats on the white's king.
The only
So
reason
the game
is
has
white
actually, yeah, the game has progressed a bit, so we need to go ahead here. I think position seems fine, but I think white is in the problem to the point where their isolated pawn is hanging, as they are already 2 pawns down right now. So I think black is going to have a victory if they play properly. I think okay. I mean, you know, maybe if we go one move back, for instance, black would have tried rook to d8 and they could have tried putting more pressure along the d3.
Yes.
That could have been easier, but nevertheless, I think black is playing fine to a point of victory right now. Rook left. Okay.
Okay, white is trying. White is trying queen into b7.
Yes.
Little tricky move, but yeah.
And if the b7 falls, then the remaining 2 pawns are again isolated.
Queen a4 is very strong here.
Queen to a4 is really strong as a part of counter attack. And queen a4 is also putting the pressure on the the weak pawn on a2 as well in the future if this rook moves.
Correct.
Position seems, I think, quite stable for.
This is also very good. It's a very nice move.
Yeah. I think should we go to a different game now?
Yeah, sure.
I think black has an edge. Black is having an edge of 2 points. Okay, tournament. Yeah, that's a very good question actually. So, viewers, I'm going to give you a quick look at our leaderboard. The leaderboarding is led by newborn Cantor with 4 points right now. Then Sain, he's having the 4 points on the second position. Samyan. I think because it's the start of the tournament, so from the player 1 to player 10, all the players have just 4 points, and most of them are coming with actually, the streak of 2 wins in a row. Okay, so I think we can now take on the next request. Yeah. So Artwix game stands. Now we can take a game of Joshua. Parents, please type the kid's username, delicious username, so we can quickly find and feature their game to you guys. In this position, Joshua is playing as white and Aryan is playing as black. When I look at this position, the black's king is slightly vulnerable along this diagonal, and both players have not completed their development yet, so they need to bring their inactive pieces into the battle.
Definitely.
Okay, I think white is trying to punish the black for developing the queen early.
Correct.
Also, we have a hook pawn on h6, so there can be some idea of sacrificing maybe in the future, opening up the position. There can be a lot of tactics here. I mean,
He's correct.
knights are in
But
the
isn't
center.
white just moving knights? I mean,
The
he should
same
also develop
piece
his bishop
twice.
as well, right?
Yes, bishop, then queen, and even the rook.
Correct.
Oh, it's a part of counter attack. But like your one knight is already hanging. Should you?
So
bounce
this
it
is
up?
what the kid should learn, that what you are attacked first you need to protect and then you need to attack. Counter attack, you have to be very calculative when you counter attack, and most of the time it leads to advantage for the opponent only.
Oh, now white is in a problem. They're losing. Oh, they got another counter attack. Wow. I mean, there is going to be. They're trying good, but it's not going to work out in most of the cases.
Yeah, queen e6, and then how you're going to defend? Yeah, that's the question.
Yeah, there's no way we can defend right now. I think one of the knight is lost. Maybe they can try. Yeah, now position seems losing for the white. One of the knight is falling.
Correct.
What is going in the white's mind right now? Oh,
The pawn takes.
how do you save the e4 knight? Okay, position seems fine here. I think white is in the trouble and black is doing too good. I think the f7 can be a weakness if the black doesn't move it, as the rook can come on f1 in the future and the queen can go on, let's say, h5. There could have been some ideas like that, but the bishop is in danger right now.
So rook f1.
So,
Again,
yeah, rook f1 can be a deal here. Actually, it can be a good deal.
It's a good move.
Even though white is a piece down, what I believe right now, the black's remaining pieces are just sleeping in this position. So if white manages to play this position properly, they can still, do a quick attack on the black's king early into the game because of their initiative. And
okay, so
position
okay, there is
can
knight.
favor.
There is knight c6, a tricky move. Knight c6.
Yes, knight c6 followed by knight e7.
It's also a good move. Decent move by.
Decent, because you're still threatening the queen.
And the bishop is
But
also
I think
the
as the black started moving the pawn around their king, we can clearly see in this position that this is creating weak squares around the king, and this can give more advantage to the white.
Okay, now a tricky move, as there is bishop a6 coming, which can be deadly.
Yes.
If white has to capture the pawn, that's for sure.
Yes, I think we should take the pawn, but then there's like a pin here, and can they exploit the pin with f6?
No, there is queen g6.
No, queen captures
G6.
even 8 is also there. Yeah,
A8 though still it's little okay. Of course, I'll get a full rook, but g6 looks more strong. Queen g6 also. Maybe there might be some mating ideas, but yeah.
queen g6, but they need to move the queen.
Correct. No. If pawn f6, you said, right?
Pawn f6 then. Yeah. Okay, then yes, then your queen infiltrates more, I guess. But by taking your queen away when there is white is having a lot of attackers.
Now you can just take the rook. Yeah,
I think just taking the rook is even enough.
Okay, there is bishop a6. There is bishop a6 and there is queen a7. Okay, wow. There is bishop a6, queen a7. Idea is you can't take, yeah, because the pin. It's a pinned queen, yeah.
Wow.
Then the bishop can't take on f1.
Definitely, it can't take because due to the pin.
Queen into queen, yes.
Queen into queen, and you are suddenly a queen down. So position looks shattering. But I think the white's early development gave them a slight edge in this position to get a quick initiative and a quick attack, which is why the white is leading even after being a piece down early in the game.
At the same time, black eventually was not playing at his perfect. I mean, pieces if he could have developed earlier.
Yes. Now queen takes a7 is winning.
But now, yeah, let's see if white can find this queen into a7.
Yes.
I hope he should, yeah, definitely.
Yeah. Their queen is hanging. It's a discovered attack. If they miss it by any chance, they will end up losing their queen. Yes. So they have to.
So,
there's no choice.
But I thought so. Yeah, he won't capture on a7 because.
I mean, there are ways to now infiltrate to the king and create some pressure. Oh.
To first capture. Okay. Now it's a nice thing. Yeah, rook versus a two pieces.
Endgame.
Queen takes.
Yeah.
Okay, again there should be. Okay, should go queen f6, no? Okay, first or else h3, make room for your king. Okay, it's king h1. Okay, good move.
But white
but the
needs to be
problem is
always
rook-
careful
rook
about the
can't-
back rank.
Rook can't move. That's the problem because there is queen
Yes.
f7 immediately.
Yes.
Okay,
And
wow.
after queen f7, it doesn't stop there. After that, there was like knight g6
Yeah,
in the follow-up,
G6.
which was a mate. Yeah.
Yes.
Okay, I think they're trying really good. We need to appreciate both the players. They're doing really
Yes,
well
time,
here.
of course.
Yes.
At even the clock is leading to 2 minutes, but still they are playing quality moves.
Yes.
Not giving anything for free. So I believe knight on e5 was only better. So he just wasted a move of playing knight c6.
Also, in the meantime, we realized that black has a passer along the a file.
Wow. Okay, this is nice.
This is a fork.
Wow.
Now I think black is in a serious problem.
This is good.
This is now I think white is clearly better. But yeah, black had a chance
the problem
of like
is
playing with the passer.
Problem is passer. Yeah, passer is the real
Yeah.
problem. So of course, let's say queen b4 and then knight into knight into f8, king into f8.
Yes.
It's actually good. Yeah, I mean, you also support c7, so the bishop can't immediately take on c7.
Yes. Bishop cannot capture on c7 because the queen is like around guarding it.
Of course,
King takes now. And black is now looking okay if if white will not find ideas like bishop e5, and you need to like you can.
I mean, it's very easy for white to actually save that pawn from promoting.
True.
But the
still,
only thing is how white is going to convert it to a victory.
Yes. Now I think bishop to b4, and then you can just put a bishop in the pawn square for the time being.
Yeah, that's perfect.
I think that looks like just a tempo, and you just stop it immediately.
Yes,
that could be a very good deal.
That was a good plan.
But here the queen is even blocked for the time. I think it's a high time now. White should at least try this, but still, you can get.
Okay, now
another
there's
tempo.
queen a1. Queen a1, no? Queen a1 and
queen a1. Yeah, that's a fork. Correct. Queen a1 on the spot. It will be a fork, and the pawn is gone. It's falling apart. Okay, it seems fine right now. I think white is now having a clear victory, but they should like take with the queen here. Anyways, it doesn't matter. They should simplify the position. After queen takes, bishop takes.
Okay, he'll take c4. He'll take on c4. Still, it's not easy yet because black has one extra pawn. Of course, it's not worth it of a piece. But then for white,
yes, the passer can create a problem, I guess.
Okay, but
I
then,
mean, queen can then come around here if.
But there are so many checks white is also going to face.
Yes, white is going to have some checks on their own king right now, starting with queen d4. Then this is going to be a really thrilling endgame. I would rather use that word for this position, I guess.
Correct. Definitely, yeah. Definitely.
Because they are also running in the time pressure, if we realize, as there are almost equal time that both the players
so many ideas for black also. Look now, if black plays queen to d4, assume, let's say, okay, now it's a good move what white played, stopping all the back rank things.
Yes, but black is having now the idea of playing with the passer. Though white can defend because of the bishop, but we need to see who has a better composure in the in the time pressure. I think that will be a decider for this game.
I mean, I'm excited to see this. But okay,
yes.
he just lost.
I think white is just using, I think, yeah.
It was okay. Wow, no.
Yeah.
See, but look, it was tricky. Yeah, queen f5. It looks so good, but then queen takes f5.
Yes.
So very
queen
nice.
Queen f5, and then the queen was defending. Yeah. Good. Actually, very good observation by the white, I would say here. They're maintaining their nerves so well. It has to be appreciable. They're trading it down to simplify, and then obviously now, but still, it's an endgame we cannot miss, I guess. I'm not willing to miss on this endgame just because 2 versus 2 pawns, and even if one pawn stays on the rook file, I think white can convert it.
So
Here,
it's because that is the correct square. So it's an endgame topic of wrong color bishop. Yeah.
Wrong color bishop. Correct.
Yes. So now, but anyways, it's a right color square. So
If
yeah.
they manage to trade off the
Oh, my
pawns,
bad.
then
My bad. Okay.
no. I mean, it's if they manage to trade, then it's a draw. So it is still a
Sorry,
very tricky
sorry, my
position.
bad. Yeah. Yeah.
Okay, white immediately stopped the trade at this point, and now there's just bishop check. You take this, and I think you should have a winning position.
Perfect. Very nice play.
Bishop takes h4. Well done, white. Brilliant game. We appreciate this.
Oh no, there is en passant.
Oh, 1%.
Oh my.
Why bishop captures h4 was simply winning for the white.
Oh
Good
my
game by
God.
both the players. Brilliant one. We'll take on the next request now. Yeah. Sain is having 5 victories in a row with a streak of 5 games. He's playing on the 6th one.
We should watch this game. Yeah? Oh my God, the game was very deadly. Yeah, the last game.
Yes.
I couldn't.
Let's take a game of Sain. Yeah. I mean, quite unexpected. It was a complete game of twists and turns.
1 versus 2. Wow, this is interesting. 1 versus 2.
Yes. Sain is playing as white and newborn Cantor is playing as black. I think both are leading somewhere in the top 5. Sain is leading the top 5.
Instead of NF3, who's NF3? Sain played NF3. Why not Bishop C6? Bishop C6 is more strong, right?
Yeah, Bishop C6 is like where you can win a tempo and you can dominate the light square weaknesses on the one side.
There was a free pawn, right? Bishop C6, Rook, maybe B8 and then Queen into pawn.
Yeah, that's correct.
Now,
okay, but can you explain the viewers why we directly can't take using the Queen?
Yeah, directly we can't take because no, still the point is we can, right? Okay, because there is no bishop into h2.
Bishop into h2. Okay. Okay, fine. Okay, right now I think white
again this is
keen to. Yes.
Black played very bad move. There is knight d7, very strong move it was. It supports the pawn and attacks the bishop. So you can go one move back. Yeah, knight d7. Yeah, this is good. And I expect from these players to find out knight d7. Yeah, quality. See, winning and losing doesn't matter. It happens. The quality of the game should be very important. Yeah, that
up
is
to the mark. And
yes.
when we see Sain's idea, he's not taking with the bishop. He's rather infiltrating his queen for a trade because he knows he's a pawn up.
Now that is simple, right? He knows that he's a pawn up. So
he knows he's about to be a pawn up, and he's immediately going for the trade.
The problem is he also loses one more pawn. There is no option. There is no
f5. Yes, true. So that's why we tell our students to not have double pawns in one line, in one file particularly, because double pawns, are one sort of pawn weakness.
Okay, so what moves happen? Okay, just wait. Well, I mean, now white will just slowly, gradually win the game.
Yes.
Yeah, we can jump on to the next game.
Another game. I think we are getting a lot of requests and we should now take on the request.
Correct.
Okay. So there is one cool name, which is like Vivan, but his username is like Spider-Man. So cool. So yeah, we'll go through their game and see how the kid is playing. Okay. So Vivan is playing as white in this position against Rudransh. The point I would like to highlight first is the rating difference of 300 points. And we can clearly see that thing in terms of material as well.
Correct.
The black is like 10 points up in the position. Siddhant sir, what moves would you recommend white here? They are already in a losing position, but how can they, increase the survival for their king at this point?
So definitely now from here on, losing one single pawn as well eventually will make their life, it will be lost very easily. So what you can try to do is try to hold on these two pieces, bishop and knight, and try to capture at least the heavy piece of black, which is the rook. But the problem is, it's not easy at all.
Yeah. I believe keeping your king in the center in such kind of positions can be useful. I know there are a lot of black pieces.
For stalemate purpose, yes, definitely.
Oh, wow. Here, the black did rook takes h2, and they blundered their rook where knight captures rook was on the board.
I told
And
you,
now
right?
when we see, yeah, this is students, this is one of that examples we are trying to set. Okay, your opponent can make a mistake. Don't resign when you are in the losing position. Okay, continue to play till you get a checkmate or you run out of the time, or there has to be a natural reason for your loss. Don't resign.
I'm just thinking how this game went. I mean, white has 0 pawn and black has almost 7 pawns.
Yeah, that is quite surprising actually. And now they're queening up. So knight needs to come back here, and that's the only way to prevent pawn promotion. But then you lose your bishop in the process after king takes g7.
Correct.
Okay, seems fine now. But anyways, I still believe now black has a clear edge here. We can, I guess, take on the next request.
Definitely.
Yeah, because I think they have too many passives. We are getting the next request from Sidhu. We'll go through their game quickly. Yeah. Okay, Sidhu has already completed a game, but we can take, his last game that he played. He's playing. He was playing as white against Avyan. He was playing as black. We'll quickly try to just skip off the opening part first because it is going to be a prepared one. The white's pawn structure was a bit challenging with that isolated pawn. Siddhant sir, would you recommend rook captures f8 in this position?
I mean, instead of rook captures, why not to? Because the idea is already the black has pushed h6, so maybe try to mate on h7, something like that. I'll try definitely, but of course there is knight into the picture, so maybe yeah, I'll try. Let's say example. I'm just giving an idea. I know it won't work. So let's say rook into f8, queen into f8, knight into d4, knight into d5. No, knight into d5. So in case knight into knight, there is what do you say, queen g6. Of course there is queen g8, but black has to find queen g8 to stop mate on h7. So some ideas like that.
That's true. Here the point probably white was trying to picture out the white was trying to picture out as black did not develop their pieces. Black was a bit underdeveloped in this position, and his point was rook takes, queen takes, and we immediately gain a tempo on the rook, and then you can enter on the 7th rank, and there can be just a simple threat with probably that. That's what it looks like.
Definitely.
So that is why we tell our students to connect the rooks in the open.
I'll tell you. Okay, now, can you go one move back? Yeah. Okay.
Yes.
No. Yeah. Rook captures.
Okay.
Rook captures. Rook f1.
Yes. Rook f1 in the
He
game.
played. After that, what? Okay. Now, there is. Okay. Now there is knight into. Okay. So this is small tactics. Let's say if it's knight into d5, so the queen can't
Knight
take
takes d5
because there is f8 mate.
Yes,
Not
rook
f8
f8 is a mate.
There is knight g.
There is knight, but any opposition just shatters for the black. So knight take captures, for instance. Yeah.
Okay, and then queen g6.
Queen g6 can be one of the very good approach here.
Now you will stop. Now how you will stop?
This
Queen g8, rook f8.
Yeah, there is rook f8, and then after queen captures, there is queen to h7. The way you instructed this idea.
Knight f6, knight f6, rook f6.
Yeah, knight f6, then rook f6, and then h7 is yet unstoppable in both the situations. I mean, come on, let's say they go here, but for instance, rook takes. After rook takes, probably they can try queen g7 idea in the position.
But again, the rook f8.
But then rook f8 is still a deal that they cannot stop. So, a very good game by the white, I would say, in this position. But what did they miss? I think they missed the activity of,
activity
could have tried activity. But here, I think this pawn was pinned on the queen. How did this position came up? Okay, they created a sort of discovered attack probably, but it was undefended, so queen captures, b7 on the board, and then wow.
But simply queen into, no? It would have been.
Yeah, queen in 2 could have been just simply winning here. But then why rook d1?
The idea is, okay, if queen into, there was queen
Did
d3.
they blunder the queen?
Yes. Yeah, that was the problem. And then
I think students should play a bit slowly because both had like 3 minutes. You had enough time to complete this game. You could have like thought a bit and check your move twice before making. That will help you to eliminate the blunders on the board. So then I think white has just made a blunder. Otherwise, I think Sidhu was also playing quite good. But because of that queen blunder, he had to like give up on this game. We can take on the next request now. Now we are getting a request for Parth. Okay, I would like to first give a quick glimpse of the leaderboard to the viewers. Sain is leading with 24 points without a single loss. So he has won like 7 games in a row. Then we have Sankeet. He has won like 6. Yeah, he's on the streak of like 6 games. He has lost his first one against Sain itself. Then we have Arna Dhruvan. She is also on a streak of 5 games in a row. She has lost only her first game. Then we have the Joel Asher. They are on a streak of 4 games. And yeah, I think the board is looking really good. And it's one-side domination. Okay, we'll take on the next request for the Parth quickly. Oh, what a coincidence. So, in this game, Parth is playing as black. Against Sankeet, he's playing as white. Siddhant sir, where do you see this game going ahead?
Right now, it's even. I mean, of course, white has center advantage. And there is going to come, I mean, f4 and g4 is going to come soon. If not, so like let's say if h3 and then f4 is an idea, yeah. Of course, not right now because there is c4 is under attack. So of course, queen b3 good move. Knight into c4 was an idea of black. So queen b3 stops that idea.
Yes.
And yeah, it's a good move again. Yeah. So white is I mean definitely better.
And there's a huge rating difference of 300 points as well. So we are going to witness that into the games as well.
Okay.
I think black is yet underdeveloped. If one thing I would like to spot here, which they can improve.
Yeah, again remove the rooks, but yeah.
Black is probably trying to maybe get an outpost in this position, but definitely there is like this.
No, now there is. Yeah, here he got travel. Let's see if black finds this.
Oh, backward is awkward. But yeah, I think he's trying for knight f3. Yeah.
But then that was much more good, right? When you attack the queen and then knight f3 is forced.
Yes, that could have been like a really good move in the position. Yeah, it seems okay right now. I think white is doing fine. Black is equally doing good. We need to see where this game heads. When I talk about the pawn structure, I think white is having an a2 as a weakness right now.
Oh, no, there is h4 coming. So black has to be.
Oh, yeah, yes. Oh, the knight is on the verge of getting trapped.
Knight is trapped. Let's see if he doesn't find.
White didn't sound as well.
Sankirat is also playing pretty fast. I mean, it should not be Sankirat. Why to
definitely he's like a 1700. So we recommend the kids to play slowly, but we cannot see that right now. Another point I would like to highlight is, knight is gone.
No, now there is knight f7. No.
Oh,
he played f6.
He played f6 in order to retrieve his knight, the black.
Yes.
And there's a juicy outpost on e6 right now.
But
which can like.
Okay, it's a juicy outpost, but just simply queen. See, okay, yeah, even queen d7 is fine, and now there is knight d8. And okay, let's see if he finds knight d8. Knight d8, I really like knight d8.
Yeah,
Knight d8 and try to just exchange the knights, kick away the knight, and yeah. See,
Knight here?
sometimes over moving the pawn can also lead to a bad position. So black is intact. If you see, I know, I mean, black is little crunched, but if black gets a chance because his pawn structure, it's not bad. Definitely, it's not bad. So it's just that you have to find knight d8. This is getting now open up here because
you need to get rid of that knight as fast as
the
possible.
problem is pawn into pawn. That is the problem. So he has to take it with the knight, not f6.
We need to now see where this game goes because again, I think a2 is a weakness right now, but also the fact that a rook file isolated pawn can become a passer, and that is going to be too strong if that happens. But there's no chance for that because of a5.
Black is too weak. No, white activity is too much because if he just rook left, double the rook, there is a mate also coming. There is mate on g7 also coming.
And that now we understand the purpose of this knight when we look at the position. It is like going to completely create a sort of prison or a trapping position for the king. So if there is a battery, let's say along the h file as you stated, then there's a direct mating threat. And then eventually the queen can also join the party. Why not?
Okay, knight into.
Okay, at least they are trying to trade down, I guess. When you are in a crunched position, you should try to trade down. But again, it's not so easy for black to even handle this. This is
the problem is, of course, knight into knight is the only move, and which leads to victory because there is rook h8 after that.
Yeah.
The idea is rook h8, rook h7, queen lost.
Yeah. Yes, the skewer is going to be too powerful to take the queen. That's correct.
And eventually to lose the game.
I was just thinking, is there any way for the white to not get the queen and still get a mate? Like maybe queen h8, but then where does that leads to is what I'm calculating.
Okay. So queen h8, king f7. There is rook h7, let's say, but then...
Okay, then we still achieve a skewer, for instance, but your own queen is also hanging probably.
That is the reason.
So that's the reason, yes. So yeah, I think rook to h8 is going to be better in this position.
A lot of moves has happened already.
Yes.
Am I right?
Okay, we can just quickly dive in. I think we were analyzing the position. Sankeet did a rook trade here. Oh, he found a tactic of the pin. And there he managed to lose his rook and win the opponent's queen in return. And that is where I think he has found a winning position. I think white has a clear advantage.
Yes.
Maybe queen takes, for instance, g5. The king is here. They're trying to avoid...
I'll just come in a couple of minutes, Abhishek. I'll just come in a couple of minutes, okay?
Sure. I'll continue the stream in the meantime. So viewers, when we look at this position, white just simply have the idea to take on g5. If let's say the pawn moves, you somehow try to win it. And then after winning this pawn, the idea of the white here is to use the g5 pawn to make a new queen in the position, which is like what we call as a passer. Now this pawn is gone, and Sankeet just performed a beautiful checkmate without even taking that pawn, getting a queen. He just found the mating thread, and black was not able to hold on that. We will take on the next request in the meantime. Yeah, we'll take on the Samyan scheme. So in this game, Samyan is playing as white against Sanjay. He's playing from black. And when we look at this position, white is up in the material by 18 points. So definitely white is going to win this position after a couple of moves. For instance, if the king by mistakes goes on f8, then rook to e8 is a mate. But if the king goes on g8, then rook to e8 and there is king to h7. But after rook here, I think queen to just g7 is a mate. So white had a very sharp game here. and Samyan just defeated Sanjay. We'll go in the next game now. We are getting the request for Sanvi right now. We'll take her game. So in this game, Sanvi is playing as white and Manvik is playing from the pieces of black. Now, when I look at this position, we are almost now entering into an endgame, but white is slightly better because their queen has reached on the 7th rank, and when your piece goes on the opponent's 7th rank, okay, then it can target a lot of things at once into their kingdom. Due to which, whenever we take the queen or a rook on the 7th rank, we get a lot of ideas to attack our opponent.
Okay, who's it? PK versus Manvik.
Yes, PK is basically Sanvi. She's playing as white and Manvik is playing as black.
Oh, it's an even Steven, no?
Yes, it's an even Steven. And
but I'll tell you, a black. Oh wow. Okay, black is clearly winning now.
Yes.
Okay. Okay, let's see if he finds bishop to e5. Bishop e5
Yes.
idea. Queen f1.
Yes. Queen f1, rook takes, queen takes. I think that's like a really strong idea by the black. But black did not found it, and indeed they are going behind the bishop right now.
It's not a bad move at all.
No. I'm just thinking what white can do in this position to win from here. Let's see.
The point is black's g7 bishop is super strong. And
yes,
until if the rook is on the last
but yes, no if we can manage to remove this rook, then there is like the bishop comes in and there can be a chance of winning a piece.
The idea
and
is
eventually probably the back rank.
Black's bishop is more stronger than white's bishop. That's the idea. Because c4, now c3, oh my god, I mean c2, this is unstoppable.
Yes, the passer is going to make that difference. Yes, even if black does not do anything and just keep on pushing the passer, that will make that will create a pressure for the white to handle, and black is just doing really well in this position. But the point is, how quickly can you convert your advantage into a win? I think now the idea could be rook to f2 after this, but yeah, the back rank is going to have a lot of problems.
So
also you can't move h6 because then the g6 is going to be weak. Yeah,
this is bad. So black lost. Game over.
Yes. This was a blunder. Yeah, this was a blunder by Sanvi. Now he spotted bishop to g6.
Rook f2 is a mate. Yeah.
Rook f2 great. Is a game gone position. Good game by both the players. We'll go into the next request.
Okay, wow. Sen is leading, huh?
Yes. Now we are getting a request for Ayansh Singh. Yes. So Sayan, Sayan has like got 9 wins in a row, and he's again taking on Sankeet, who is on the 2nd position. Should we take that game? Because definitely. Contestants are fighting each other for the throne right now. Okay, so here Sankeet is playing as black, Sain is playing as white. Siddhant sir, where do you see this game heading towards?
So black is definitely, has a piece up. So of course black is winning. Of course white is trying to do something, but that pawns are going nowhere. Okay, it's just a threat that's it's very easy for black to win from here, because of course he lost. But
we see, even though black is a piece of, but the rook in the corner is not the thing we expect, right?
Yeah, just one move. Rook f8. That's it. Right?
Yeah, rook f8 has to be next plan, but still, like your pieces all should be into the battle before you begin your fight.
Definitely.
So yeah, I think
so white is offering a drop. Black declines a drop. See.
Yeah, black won't take on the draw, obviously. But yeah, we need to see where this game heads after that.
Okay, I mean, this is bad because exchange rook f8. Yeah, now.
Why is white trading down if they have less material? I mean,
Oh, I can just take on one.
yeah, I mean, why not now? You just have one more passer, for instance. But I think now black seems better.
Of course, I mean, piece is a piece. Yeah. I mean, now he'll show the technique of how to win.
Yeah. I mean, there's like bishop g5 or bishop f4 at some point. Then all the dark square pawns. Like for instance, if I just show the viewers, like this can be one of the plans. Also, the
No,
principle
but
of two
the
weaknesses.
problem is the bishop can't move from that square. Idea is e7 is
I still forgot about like e6 right now.
e6 is
Yes.
yeah.
I got that. But yeah, still, I think the pawns, 2 pawns on the fourth rank is a winning position for the black. If you
One
go
king is
right, they'll push the left. And if they push the left, the king goes to the left, then the black will push the right. So left, right, and I think black is winning.
Definitely.
Yeah, I think we can head to a different game because this is quite victorious for the black, I guess. There's no way now h3 obviously into the position. There's no questions in that. We can take on the next game now. Yeah. Now we are getting a request for Rudransh, so we are going to take their game. Rudransh is playing from the pieces of white against Arav Shiv. He's playing from the pieces of black. Materially, both are doing equal right now. But Siddhant sir, can you make a comment on this pawn structure, for instance? How can this kind of position can arise?
Okay, so definitely a capture has happened on g6 also and on g5 also.
Yes.
Maybe
I mean, there are double pawns in the same fight.
No, such structures have definitely arrived. Even in grandmaster games, if you see, such structures
Yes.
have arrived. Yeah, I mean,
But it's, I mean, it's not common. It's quite rare, right?
yeah, it's rare. It's definitely rare.
Yeah.
I mean, it was as
But
rare
again,
as
you do not like get too much material to study such kind of positions, and you need to like bring your own skills here to outplay your opponent. So I think that is where we are going to see the kids, showing their potential now. Knight is hanging here.
king d3 is okay, but
They are going for a counter attack again. Yeah.
attack. But black's counter attack is little more faster. Now, okay, he should have went back.
Yes.
Okay, but now this comes with a check. And now, okay, now black actually white is beaten him. But the problem is white cannot stop this pawn. Okay, now this is better for white because this is also falling. If I was falling, wow.
They could have like taken
This is
d6
nice.
also, and they were fine. Yeah.
It's actually a draw. I mean, you see, but then
Yes.
okay, now this is winning. Yeah, now this is winning. Wow. This is okay. Okay, you have to take the rook.
This is
Great.
like the rule of the square comes in the board now because the king cannot leave this box, and you penetrate your king maybe to a depth and take all of this.
It's a very perfect technique from Rudransh. Very
Yeah.
nice.
Yeah, brilliant calculation by the kid.
Very nice. And just push. Yes.
Push
So,
and just get a
let's-
queen. Good game. Good game.
This was nice.
Yes. We are getting a request for Shehzad, so we are going to take their game. What is like, yeah. But I'm not able to find his username for right now. Yeah, got it. Shehzad has played 16 games. Playing too fast, I'm believing. He's playing his 16th game right now against V Plays. V Plays is playing from black. Shehzad is playing from white. Siddhant sir, which side would you prefer to play in this position?
Definitely black because white is really messed up with his king.
That's
What
true.
white can max try is just king h1 and try to use that G open file, semi-open file
Yes.
for the rook. That is the only thing. But black
White is
pieces
having a
are also
slight.
good.
Oh, is that a blunder if I'm not mistaken?
Yeah, that's a blunder.
Just a second. I'll just try to show the viewers what is happening. So here white has captured the pawn on c7, where you get 1 point and your opponent gets 3 point. Okay, there can be a bishop outpost on d5, but not usable because you are like down in the. And the good thing for the white here is only their bishop pair right now, which can make a slight difference on the board.
So who wins the tournament? I mean, who wins the tournament? So I believe Sen wins the tournament.
Oh, wow. Yes. So, viewers, now finally we have came to an end of this tournament, and I'm quickly going to show you the top 10 leaderboard. Manvik is at the 10th position with 15 points. Then we have Mr. Chess Forever on the 9th position with 16 points. We have Anshika with 16 points on the 8th position. Then we have Newborn Cantor on the 7th position with 16 points. We have Kailash on the 6th position with 17 points. We have Arna with 17 points on the 5th position. So if you see the difference from the 10th position to the 5th position, I think all of those players have given neck-to-neck competition to one another, right?
Yes, correct. Definitely. Definitely. I mean, good quality of games.
Yeah, good quality of games. This time it was a neck-to-neck competition. On the 4th position, we have Samyan with 18 points. Then we have Joel Escher with 19 points on the 3rd position. So when you look at the number 10 and number 3, the difference is only of 4 points. So there are only 2 players who have made a significant difference. On the 2nd position, we have Sankeet with a win streak of, I guess, 7 games in a row with 24 points. And then we have Saeem, who has been undefeated throughout this tournament.
Wow.
And he has got like all 9 wins in a row. So I congratulate to all the viewers, all the winners, and also I'm going to say I would like to appreciate all the participants. You came here, you fought. Winning and losing doesn't really matter right now. Gaining experience will help you in your next tournament to perform better. And step by step, you will end up being somewhere in this top 5, top 10 at some day in the soon time. Thank you so much, Siddhant sir, for giving us your precious time, your knowledge. We are going to meet in the next stream. Well, would you like to give any message to our viewers, to our students, to our parents?
The quality of the games was really beautiful, amazing. And definitely kids are improving. Keep it on. I mean, coaches are really helping out your students, and even all of them, you should also practice at your place, not just in the class, but also you have to give time apart from, you have to remove extra time if you want to really improve, want to become a good chess player. So even parents, kindly support your child, students. Okay, they'll really do a lot better in chess in upcoming time. So yeah, definitely. Thank you so much, Abhishek, for this beautiful stream, and hope to see you soon.
Definitely. I request all the viewers to like this stream if you really enjoyed it. Please subscribe to our channel if you haven't. Click on the bell icon. So whenever we go live, you are not going to miss on our next stream. And that is it. Thank you so much for showing your love. We are going to meet in the next stream. Take care till then. Good night.